Hi, welcome to One Page Story Extravaganza. My name is Christopher, and yeah, if you've got a one-page story idea or a random idea in general, please feel free to let me know here, and we'll make a story from it. All right, let's get the camera switched up. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. This is I'll show you an example of today's page. I'm gonna adjust where my big noggin is sitting here. There we go. That's better. Okay. Hi. So, so this is today's page that I did. The suggestion was try to show how, I can't remember what it was. I'm sorry. I had it written down and stuck it on the paper, and the paper's in the scanner way over there. Try to show how globalization and digital culture is changing the world. So that's what I came up with, was to, it's that example where we've gone wrong before. Hi, I'm Miriam. Welcome aboard. Thanks everybody for tuning in on Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday, where my brother-in-law was here with me. That was super cool. I love having John come and hang out. He lives in Paris at a place called Sensity, where him and a number of the other residents that live there have all got hearing and vision challenges. And so he's super cool. I got a cool brother-in-law. A lot of people, they marry into some nutty situations, but I got really lucky because he's aces. We're pals. So we played some floor hockey. We did some mini golf. We had a busy weekend, and it was a lot to just change gears a little bit because last week was a rough week. So, okay. So there's today's page. It was... Miriam says, our pleasure. Oh, that's so sweet. Hey, hi. John was pretty awesome. I'm really, really, really happy to hear you say that, buddy. Yeah, he's so cool. It's funny. We were on a hike one time as a family, and John and I were walking ahead of everybody else, and somebody pointed out that, I don't know if you're old enough for this, folks, but there used to be commercials for A&W, the restaurant, the root beer chain restaurant, where the big bear that was their mascot would be walking along a path with a little kid, and people said that that's what John and I look like together because of how different we are in size. Which is not entirely kind. It's a rather rotund bear. What? Anyways, but yeah, we're a little bit different. He's 5'2", I'm 5'18". Okay. Jim asked, what kind of hockey did we play? Well, so at the house here, I have goalie pads and, a whole goalie kit. Goalie for street hockey for John. And glove, the pads. I got to get him a blocker because he's too crazy in trying to save in the net because he throws himself to the ground all the time. And I'm worried about him hurting his knuckles. So he's got his goalie stick in a whole bit. So we set up the net in the driveway, and we have a double wide driveway here. And so we play across between the two places, ours and our neighbors. And oftentimes their kids will come out and play with us. And it's super cool and super fun. But this time it was just me failing to get goals on John. And even if I get goals, I don't get goals. You know what I mean? But it was a lot of fun. It really was. Hello. Hi, Aditi. How are you? Oh, you're on your phone. Yeah, because you're one of the moderators for Janet. Janet, for those of you that don't know, Mondays at, I think it's 1, I think it's 12, 1, something like that. Janet does a Pictionary on Monday, generally on the many Mondays, not all of them, but she does Pictionary sometimes, and it is, honest to goodness, a ton of fun to try to figure out what it is that she's drawing next. And if you get a chance next time she's doing it on her stream, take a look at Janet M. Young's Pictionary. It's super cool. Okay, but again, thank you everybody for being really warm and receptive for John. I appreciate that immensely. He's my pal. And we had some Chinese food. We had Mediterranean food, but we talked about Chinese food, and then we pivoted at the last minute, and it was too complicated to explain. So Chinese food. We had a good time. We had a lot of fun, and we drew. What did we draw? Oh, yeah, this. We did a mixed media of hockey player for John, Austin Matthews, and because the poor kid can't afford to get a portrait done on his own. He's not making enough money. So John forgot to bring that with him. And, okay, I forgot to put it in his bag. But I'll see him on Friday, so we'll get him then. Janet M. Young is, yeah, thank you, Dee Dee. Jim asked, what is Janet's page? And Dee Dee says, Janet M. Young. Yeah, pushing is super cool. I really enjoyed that. That's a lot of fun. So I hope everybody's had a good week. Now, I'm not, a couple of things. I'm not trying to talk out of turn, and I'm not trying to spoil anything. But I was shown a video today of a scene from something that is going to have a lot of people jealous. We say jello to John because John is hearing impaired, so he hears jealous as jello. So I forget and sometimes say jello. Yeah, it is so awesome. It's such a great and fully rounded and structured scene. And it stars a certain character that's going to make somebody weep openly in the streets. Maybe you can break into their place and try to steal their scarf. Okay. But well, if you get a chance, next time that Jim Luan does a, hey man, how's your movie going? Do check it out because it's super insightful to see the thought processes by somebody who's producing an entire animated film on their own. Also, it's my understanding that Jim is going to be on Marsh Makes Comics, I think it's called, Marsh's channel for an interview tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to seeing Jim on that. Is John Jr. still here? No. Yesterday, John went back to Sensity in Paris, Ontario. It's like 45 minutes away from London. And it just sounds a lot fancier that we live in London and he lives in Paris. But he's coming home on Friday for the long weekend. I think we have a long weekend. Dee says, Marcia said he's having Limpin tomorrow night. Marsh Makes Comics is having Jim on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. EST. And Miriam says, we don't get jealous. We learn, we participate, and we enjoy. Yeah, no, we don't get jealous. We get jello. Nobody gets jealous ever. It's jello. We say jello because we're silly and we don't really get jealous. Like, I'm going to get jello because John just got some new glasses. I'm not really jealous of John's glasses. You know what I mean? It's a thing we just say. All right. I'm just going to read from now on. I know that somebody commented on the fact that no matter how many people are using Siri or whatever it is that they're using to automatically type for them, I always read it the way it's supposed to be. I just try to short that step. But from now on, maybe I'll just read it the way it's spelled phonetically. Because I think, honestly, Marcia said he's having Limpin tomorrow night is far more fun. Did anybody... Miriam says she's allergic to jello too, ja. See, that's what I mean. See, it's phonetics. It's fun. Yeah, you can't eat jello. I understand that. I don't eat jello either, but for different reasons. Did anyone feel or probably see the Gary Hodges clip I posted on Instagram? Such a great artistic point he made. I did. I liked it. One of those. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's fun. Okay. Where is my brain at? Yeah, I think I said at the start of things, if you have a one-page story or idea, feel free to share it here in the chat or share it in the comments for the video or attach it to a small piece of paper. Tie said piece of paper by a ribbon to the ankle of a dove. Release it and hopefully send it to my house, depending on how far away you are, because New York's a hell of a flight. But yeah, if you've got ideas, feel free to share them. We'll have some fun with them. If you've got stuff that you're doing that you want to share with all the other kids in the schoolyard, please feel free to do so. I got some fun things I'm working on. I did some more jelly plating on the weekend, and just for some more backgrounds, and nothing too spectacular. Because honestly, again, I'm not really doing recognizable imagery. I like the modulated surface. So, but I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun doing whatever it is that you're doing. But we've got some one-page suggestions lined up, so I think I better get crack-a-lackin'. I think I'm going to work on this page that says contents on it, and we're going to have to see. That's part of the challenge for me. I'm going to switch cameras in a second. Don't worry. Part of the challenge for me is having to take what I've got and fit it to what we're doing. Jim says, I really like the inclusivity of art. Anyone can do art. You just have to hunker down and apply yourself. I think that, see, I got a weird headspace on this. Mandy says, hello, everybody. Hi, Mandy. Okay, I'm going to switch cameras for a second. Get off this. This is, oh, sorry, before I forget, this page is on a jelly-plated surface that I've made a whole lot of marks and mess and had some fun with. So, but we're going to switch that off for this. I have a different headspace on the inclusivity of just art. I think that there's this thing that we do societally where we differentiate, things into categories in a really, really dissociative way. We talk about sports as being something exclusive from art. I think they're all the same. Art, sports, people that like to decorate their house or find things in the rubbish tip and paint it and sand it, make it pretty again. Like anything that anybody does, anything that anybody engages in, that's just their thing. And the idea that other people can't do it, I think, is so dismissive. I hate it. My people have an affinity for things, but I think anybody can learn to do anything with any given amount of time. So it's entirely supportive to be inclusive of anybody doing art, and there's no private club, and I absolutely hate the art world. I have spent some time in the art world showing in galleries for years. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the people there. Not all of them. There's always good people everywhere. There's always bad people everywhere. But there are situations where you have the scale tipped a little too far one way or another in social situations. Like there is some sort of pomposity to being in the know in that world. And it's in every community. It's in every subset. But in the art world, I'm just tired of that group. So, that's unfortunate. I hope that if you know anybody that you want to encourage in making some pictures, or if they want to take up some athletics, or if they want to learn plumbing, whatever it is, I hope that everybody, and I'm saying this to whoever's out there in Magic Land, because I know that pretty much every person that comes to this stream is a real optimist and a real supportive and encouraging person. But I hope that everybody out there does that with each other. I would like to see more people in general do that with each other, because let's strip away the exclusivity from everything. I'm all about social conform. I'm all about everybody just accepting everybody for whatever, but not having to heap whatever opinions on each other or thoughts on each other. Just love everybody forever they want to be loved, but don't do any harm, and don't expect for everybody to go all the way for you at the same time. Those are my sort of operating principles. It's just the idea that everybody wants to pursue dreams and avenues, and whatever we can do to help people do that, let's do it, team. All right. Hey. Soapbox. Kicked across the room. Anyhow. You know what, Miriam? I'm going to put this up on top of a thing. Singularization needs to be in the service of the integration. Yeah. I completely agree. there's and Mandy says, I love that so much. Was it my dancing? Anyways, I co-ran a gallery for 1 year. If I never see that world again, I won't miss it for a second. I do not blame you. Yeah, there's any situation that you get where people have this pomposity, people have this pretentiousness about, well, of course, my brother's a doctor. Great. That's great. But your brother's a doctor. You should be, supportive of your brother and appreciate that he followed the thing you want to do. But I could care less, but people do that. We all do that. Singularization needing to be in the service of the integration is an absolutely fantastic expression, Miriam. Good for you for that. It's whatever you do, don't hurt the system. Like, don't hurt others purposely. But at the same time, we live in a global situation and it doesn't care about us. It doesn't care about the individual. It just doesn't, because it's too busy concerned about material things. And that's really unfortunate. How do we change that? Don't be that, But beyond that, I don't know. I have no answers for you, but be proud of who you are and be proud of what you do and pursue the things that you want to pursue. You're going to make a mess. You're going to make mistakes. But eventually, you'll learn how to flap your arms enough to fly. If you do that, you got to take a video. I'm just saying that much. All right, who else we got here? Oh, goodness, is that Paul Pate? I went to the playground to pick up my kid. I felt like the other parents looked down on me just because I wasn't wearing pants. Yeah. Did you have shorts on, Paul? Did you have shorts, or did you have jeggings, maybe? Try jeggings, Paul. I know you don't like pants, but flesh-colored jeggings, because then you at least have an excuse. Take a picture. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like the idea of encouraging others. I really like what Gary had to say, and I really like that Jim reposted that. I really like strip away the exclusivity, strip away the whole so-and-so's an artist. Well, so-and-so's a dentist. Great. I had a lot of weird situations coming up in the last week where we're in a situation of not feeling great and missing somebody, and other people are there to talk shop. And well, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And other people need a little more time to get over whatever losses and hurts that they feel. So maybe slow down on the shop talk, huh? Maybe. I don't know. What do I know? What a wino. That was for Siri. Okay, gotta run. Thumbs up, everybody. Thanks very much, Didi. Thank you for coming on out. Super cool. She's moderating Janet at the same time as visiting here, so that's very busy. Mandy loved Didi's stream this morning. And Miriam is curious as to whether or not Paul needs a pair of pants. Paul says there's video of him without pants on. Here we go. Paul threw me off. I've had a real hard time this last week or so. I feel like I've been gone for a while, and so thank you, everybody, for all your encouragement and well wishes and things like that for the family and while we're going through what we've been going through. I feel like I've been out of touch. I've been out of loop for a little bit, and it's only been a few days. So we'll get back on the horse. Okay, I'm pulling out the book. Now, again, this page that I have jelly plated before, I have got to somehow incorporate some of these elements into the image that I'm about to produce. And so we're going to look through the book and see what we've got for suggestions. I have been sticking things on Post-its and sticking Post-its in places. It's a bad system. I'm fully aware of that, and I'm so sorry about it. But we're improving. So one of the ideas that we had recently, if Canada was a theme park, what would be the mascot? We had a number of those. We had some really crazy ones came out of that. Time lapse of a one-page story's creation. That could be a fun one to do if people are keen to that. What do you want to be when you grow up? That's a personal question. But you know what? That's what we're doing. Just sticks in my head too much. What do you want to be when you grow up? Okay, this is a thing that I got sent in the whole stamp swap that went on recently, and this might be my favorite thing on planet Earth right now. I leave it right in front of me in my studio as I'm doing the streams. I just like letters. Okay. So what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, I say that I'm going to work on this, but as per usual, if anybody gets in here before I start cracking, if you would rather see me work in a different medium, let me know, and I'll throw down with that today. Because and that was Joshua Campbell that suggested that one, or as we call him, the Kremlinator. All right, I'm trying not to miss things, but what do we got? Have a great day. Okay, that's for saying bye to Didi. We've missed you. That's very nice of you. Indecent paint exposure. It's exactly what it's called. Okay, let's see. Every now and then I get asked if I can show some stuff out of my sketchbook. Okay, I'll let you in on some of this fun. So one of the things that I was doing when we were at the visitation for Lori's dad is that I end up inevitably occupying children because it's easy. And so we started drawing some rather interesting pictures. And when you look at the art made by kids, you learn things. The concern for the kids is that they didn't want to wreck my book. So I took a red paint marker and I squiggled on the page. And immediately 4 kids were standing around the page, drawing upside down, sideways, and whatever to work on the same paper. And so this is what they were coming up with. But only a kid's mind is going to think about using these sharp point colored markers to draw items like this. And at the same time, this dull, flat, paint of flesh tone or Caucasian flesh tone that really doesn't clearly define. It seems almost ethereal or ghost-like. The fact that kids apply things like that in their heads and it's completely normalized to them, like they've got an idea for what they're trying to tell. And we'll never really get that. We'll never really understand that. And all these people as adults that try to do primitivism or try to do deconstructivist interpretations of things, they're never going to match that. Because you asked that child immediately after why you did what you did, and this one's pink. They have no idea. And this is a jet rocket. So we drew another jet rocket exactly the same on a loose piece of paper. And then we said, watch this take off. And then he pulled the other piece of paper from under the book and ran across the whole table with it. And it was like it burst off the page. That's the kind of ingenuity that children have that adults just lose. So this is a dog walking, and then the camera pulls out, and this is a dog being walked by the little girl. These are children that are thinking this way. Oh, that's just me bored and doodling. Okay, so anyhow, just thought I'd show you that because I was rather taken by it, and I thought you might be too. Toys R Us Kid, that's what Mandy says. Is that a suggestion? Hi, Riri. How are you? Okay, so if anybody has any medium that they think I should be using, let me know now, and we'll go for it. Otherwise, I'm just going to do whatever I'm going to do as per the usual, and putting together whatever image. What do you want to be when you grow up? Is the question asked. I don't know about you people, but I wanted to be a dinosaur. I wasn't even specific about what kind of dinosaur. For some reason, I really just I identify with the Triceratops. We went to my oldest house on Sunday because her husband and my grandson Jay and my other grandson Atlas, they were having birthdays. And so we brought presents over, and I brought over stuffed dinosaurs, as is my custom for babies. That's what I give them. Why? Because I wants to, that's why. Have I done? Oh, great. Canvas and oil paints. I can't paint in oil. I'm allergic. but I just did acrylic the other day, and I've done canvas painting before. In fact, that's my wheelhouse. That's my background as a fine artist, is painting and illustration on large scale drawings that are 8 foot by 16 foot and 10 feet by 30 feet, things like that. So but I can't use oil, but I did oil acrylic paint last week. So what else have we got here? Crayon. Somebody said, Jim has said crayon yet? Yeah, I've done China marker, but Mandy says she wants, Mandy, you're ahead of the curve. Look at this. It's the answer to what I want to be when I grow up. She doesn't want to grow up. She's a Toys R Us kid. There's a million toys at Toys R Us for her to play with. Okay, let's get the crayons out. I'm going to draw some Triceratops in crayon. Where do I have crayons? Hold on a sec. I got to go to grandkids' room. Okay, so in the playroom for the grandkids, I have lots of art supplies for them too. So I'm borrowing some of their crayons. So let's do some dinosaurs. So what I'm going to try, I'm just grabbing a whole bunch out of here. Try not to have any duplicates, but whatever I got, I got. How do you manage to grab 3 purples? How do you do that? Okay. You know what the fun part of crayons are? 2 oranges. There's a green. Didn't have a green. And one more color. Boy, oh boy, these kids got a lot of green and purple. Okay. All right. So we got some colors. There we are. Wee-hee! Look at this crayon. It's Canada, eh? Check out that your Canadian Crayola crayon there, Crayola collectors. Canonical. Anyways. Riri wants to be a Dee Willingham. A Dee Willingham? When I grow up, I want to be a kid again. I love this. These are all great answers. Okay, so when I was a kid, I wanted to be a dinosaur. Simple as that. I just wanted to do dinosaur stuff. So when they came out with the Jurassic Park films, because I'd already read Crichton's book, when they came out with those films, I thought, this is just grand, because I get to see all these cool dinosaurs, even though I knew how dark that book was, I don't know if you've read the Jurassic Park book, but it's not the same as the movie. So, all right, I might have to peel some of the paper off in that with these, but we're going to get cracking anyways. Oh, I like that color. Does it say what it is? Gold. Who doesn't like gold? All right. I want to be a wee Dillingham. I'm going to do it. You're the boss of me, Jim says. I'm going to do what I want. Let's get... she's sharper than the crayon. Okay. All right, so let's draw some dinosaurs, shall we? What shall we? What say you? So I'm drawing on this... it's a heavy... No, that's a bomb pen. What am I doing? Get out of here. Get out of here. It's just typewriter paper. I'm going to wreck typewriter paper in the blink of an eye. See how this has a better tooth when you're using like the cardstock? So crayon, any tool that we find out there, there's fun things that we can do with it that, is different from the next medium, but crayon, I got to admit, is not something that I'm going to work with on a regular basis because there's so many other things I discovered as an adult. But that doesn't diminish the fact that there's so much that you can do with crayons. I had a teacher when I was in high school that said, all right, come on over here, grab 3 crayons out of this box. This big box of crayons. And you just should have seen how angry some kids were. I should read the Jurassic Park book. I love dinosaurs too. Yeah, it's a great book. It's a great book, but it's an awful lot of it is about probability mathematics and how the systems break down. It's interesting, anyways. Crichton's a weird guy. I don't know if you figured this out yet, but the writer of Jurassic Park and Westworld and Sphere. I'm trying to think of what else he's written. He's kind of got a bleak outlook on things, and the systemic underlying principle in a lot of his books is we have no idea what we're getting ourselves into ever. So I loved dinosaurs when I was a kid. My grandchildren love them too. Excellent. That's excellent. You gotta pass on your enthusiasm for stuff like that for sure. So I'm gonna go in and out here with different values and stuff. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good weekend. Is there anybody working on anything fantabuloso that they would like to tell everybody else about? Because we'd like to hear about it. One of the things I think that is to be encouraged in a forum like, online communities and that is people aren't going to know who you are or be able to read your mind about the things that you want to share unless you share them. But it's important to find safe places to do that. This is a safe place for you to share your ideas. If you've got stuff you're working on, especially if you've got questions of, hey, how does MacTac work? And how do I incorporate that in my art? Whatever it is. Is MacTac a Canadian thing? I don't know. Triceratops is a really fun dinosaur. I'm building a spooky house. That's your project for Halloween, isn't it, Miriam? I think I saw you putting some bricks on it there. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let's see if I got. Didn't I say I found the green? Where did it go? Oh, it's because I pushed a whole bunch of things underneath my drawing thing. Well, that explains a lot. Rose art. Wow, we got a lot of different crayon sets in this house. Mandy's working on their idea book. That's awesome. And what are you thinking up for this idea book of yours? What sort of stuff have you got going on? What are you got? Are you just putting together images that you're finding, or how's your idea work? Do you want to share that? Miriam says, yeah, I'm almost finished with the bricks. Nice. Idea books are great. They really are. If you're a person who, at times can sit there, especially if you're a person like this, if you've got times where you can sit there and go, I don't know what to do, then it's important that you allow yourself motivational prompts for yourself. And if it's an idea book or if it's just a post-it of just random things that you've come across that's stuck on the wall nearby you, whatever it is, utilize that. It's over time. I don't know about other human beings, but over time, I think you find that you just start to become really open to, really receptive to whatever immediate notions in front of you and you try to do something with that. That's kind of how my brain works at this point, is that one of the reasons that I do the one-page stories is not because I have a shortage of ideas. It's an engagement thing. Sometimes what we need is a prompt from somebody else to say, do you have an idea if you think something that should be done as a story? And, oh, I don't know. And we'll dismiss ourselves immediately, or we'll just talk ourselves out of the possibility of that. And if you shouting an idea to a weirdo like me to see what I come up with for that, this might help you out of that, then that's awesome. Mandy says, I'm just starting out. I got a couple books to help me start out. There you go. You can also try writing down whatever you see today. Just write down whatever you see every now and then when you remind yourself, oh yeah, write that down in a book. Write that down in a book. You know, you're getting french fries at the beach. Seagull, like the notes don't have to make any sense. It's just these random smatterings of whatnot that you're seeing over the course of your day. But what you can do then, you know, this is on a Tuesday, but on a Thursday, you're like, I got a chance to sit down in my artsy space and I want to try to do something. Open up that book and then try to make something out of, you know, grabbing some french fries, seagull. Yeah. It's fun. It's silly, but it's fun. It's a sort of, I've got a couple books that help me out. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So a rule I'm setting myself is, without having to be too uptight about it or have any rhyme nor reason to it, I just keep picking up a different colored crayon every few minutes, and I have to incorporate that into the drawing. So the suggestion for today, whoops, it's not on screen. What do I want to be when I grow up? When I was a kid, I liked that. I want to be an airborne ranger. You know, I like that song a lot. I thought it was cool. Did I want to be an airborne ranger? Yeah. Just like the song. I also like the song. I can hear you calling in the air tonight, but I don't know what they were saying. So it's just a song. So I'm just throwing these different colors throughout the composition as we go, right? And then it lets us interpret things in different ways. It makes that a little more interesting for our eye to move around. And even if it's crayon, we can still, don't press hard. That's the secret, I think, to crayon, is the harder you press down, the more, you know, wax buildup is on the surface of the paper, and then the less receptive it is to another mark being made over top of it. So try to keep yourself from doing that, if at all possible. Sometimes we just like to draw like that, right? So, all right. So the Triceratops that I'm drawing is just, I don't know if that's showing up at all. Yeah, okay. I don't know how well that's appearing. It's very light. It's a very light color. But that's okay. Figure out where to use that. Now there's things that you can do with heating up your crayons, that you can make some different textures and marks in that way, you know. Right now, I'm just drawing with crayons, which I did a little bit of on Friday with some of the kids, or on Thursday night with some of the kids at the family event there. Where are we at? I've been making lists too. That's a good idea. And you know what about Mandy? What's that? I'm trying to follow there. I'm not. I think I'm missing something in that sentence. Oh, I see. I.e. maybe what you know about. What L? Not. Yeah. Okay, so you're just a terrible crayon, and nobody likes you. I told that crayon. Oh, I grabbed it. Apparently, I'm more than one blue. It's kind of like drawing like an elephant or a rhinoceros. Not a rhinoceros. Is that they've got, rather than trying to draw the value of, oh, they're all gray. I'm just going to draw gray. No, don't do that. Draw the cracks. Draw the little grooves in the wonderful crags in their skin. I think that's far more exciting and interesting. Do you have a subject for the book, Mandy? For an idea book, you have to have a subject? I don't, again, and I'm saying this not as a judgment. I'm saying it because I do not know. So I just do everything. Pardon me. Pardon my yawning. I don't specify. I try to stay open to whatever ideas come across, because then you can have these wonderful directional switches. Like this, okay, so this is just random faces. I've even switched this one on its side. But, I mean, that's a half T-Rex, half chicken, all fun. There's a guy, looks like he's jumping out of something, falling along the side of the page. And I don't have any specific direction I put down in idea books. I just start scribbling and doodling whatever it is. I think that doing things like that is very helpful for if you have to take something and try to make it your own. If you've got this sort of incongruent bunch of pieces of information, who knows how you can reassemble that into something to say, which is probably why a lot of my pages are weird. Switching. So I should be on a timer. I've been watching Didi's Lives on Art Book Ideas, so I picked up a couple of books. But I don't have a subject for a book. Is that your doodling, Christopher? Yeah. Yeah, that's doodling. You gotta, whatever it is, okay? Like, so these are panels. Okay, so this is the same book, right? These are panels that were on a page called Almonds that you'll find in, if you go through the Instagram and look through the one pages, there's 3 prompts: almonds, vines, and toucan. And so this is a toucan talking about he's coveting his bag of almonds, and he's realized that he's thrown all of his other relationships subjectively to the wind, and so that he could hold on to his almonds. I don't know where that comes from, but this is ballpoint pen, ink, friscolated ink, like spattered with a toothbrush, and some yellow paint, and some yellow paint marker and a red paint marker. So, but in the same book is where, I'll scribble and doodle whatever, and just sort of let whatever ideas come out of you, and don't be too caught up. And in that way, there's going to be something on random pages that you look at and go, hey, that works for me. I have about 5 sketchbooks I think I'm at now going on at once, and they're all like that. There's no rhyme or reason to them. A lot of people love how I can put colors together, so I'm going to make a color idea book. See, that's fantastic, Mandy. Good for you. That's fantastic. Pursue that. Are you going to do it by utilizing black and white images and then, putting color fields and color studies over those? That might be fun. And think about this too. If whatever you're doing, if it's working, if it's successful to you, it doesn't mean you can't take it one step further into something else. Why not? Switching. Interesting, Mandy. On my YouTube channel, I was putting out color pencil combinations. Excellent. There you go. Color is a scary thing for a lot of people. There's a great deal of people that'll shy away from using color at all because, whatever headspace that they've got about doing it wrong or anything like that, or they understand black and white really well, so they're not feeling comfortable venturing out. We got to lose the whole everything's going to be perfect when I finish it. And once you can do that, once you can drop that, it has to be perfect when it's done, thinking, then you're going to have a lot of fun. Because there's a lot of stuff that you can do otherwise. Orange. I don't know if I used the orange yet. Oh, yeah, I did this time. You're only going to get ahead by making mistakes. That would be fun. Yeah. Okay, so I'm drawing, there's some fantastic, if you like dinosaurs, let me see this before I get on what I was doing. If you like dinosaurs, Gary Hodges, who stops in here on the stream, good friend Gary, is doing a book called D versus M. And that stands for Dinosaurs versus Mars Bots. But what it is this fantastic series of character studies dealing with overwhelming situations in the contextual reality that we may be getting invaded from outer space. We really don't know because we don't understand motivations and we don't understand them, these visitors. But how do you fight something that's overwhelming? Well, when I utilize something that's overwhelming. And so Dinosaurs versus Marbots. It's a lot of fun. Miriam says, I have an artist book ready. I don't know why I don't publish it. Miriam, publish the book. I didn't get a lot of views on those videos. I'm going to have to check it out, Mandy. I'm still pretty new to how the YouTube channel thing works. But you need to be as constant, and the rest will come, Mandy. Yeah, it's I started doing YouTube videos in January. Well, I did a few last year. They were kind of haphazard and whenever and whatever. But I started doing the videos in January consistently. Oh, it's a Canadian red crayon. And I had 20 people in January. And now we're at 700 and something. I honestly don't keep check enough. But now we're on 700 and something. So, and it's just doing it somewhat consistent. Now, I don't expect people to do it 5 times a week, but I'm working in my studio, every day. So I'm kind of here. So why not, right? This is not red. What is this? The favorite colors of Canada. Well, we're using it. It's like another purple, it looks like. Oh boy, my grandkids and kids just love or hated purple. That's probably why they got so many purple crayons left. All right. Here comes the grist. Constant part is hard for me because of my disability. I have a lot of bad days. Oh, yeah, I completely understand that. I hear you. Just do as you can. Nobody says that you have to. If you try, just aim for, let's say, twice a week. Does it have to be every Tuesday? Nope. Does it have to be every Thursday? Nope. Does it have to be a specific time? Nope. There are no rules other than the rules that you set for yourself. I'm going to try to do it at this time this week or that time this week, whatever it is. Setting myself the whole 2 o'clock Monday to Fridays because I know how my brain works and I need to sort of make myself have to do this. But you can ask people because my nervous system disorder, there's been quite a few days where I'm looking a little ragged here. I probably shouldn't be doing one, but don't push yourself to have to do something outside your ken, that's for sure. Says the hypocrite that doesn't listen to that advice himself. So I'm pushing some of these lines around a little bit farther with the gray here. How's that? That looks kind of crazy and weird over there, but that's okay. Haven't given up. Never give up. Never surrender. Me too, Mandy. I stream twice a week. Sometimes I need a day to recuperate. Sometimes need to improvise. Time to prepare. Yep. Just do what you can do when you can do it. And if you have to write down the things that you want to remember to say, then write them down. If you have to find yourself some attractive studio assistants that stand in the background holding up cue cards for you. I'm ridiculous. Did I use? No, I don't think I did because, okay. Where are we at? Views don't matter also. I firmly attest it. Like views don't matter. Followers don't matter. Views don't matter. Right? It's absolutely lovely when you engage with a community that wants to engage with you and share with one another and feel comfortable in the space and we all come back and try different things together, etc. But if you just want to do one of these, hey guys, what's the favorite color out there in the field? If you want to be one of those people, that's hollow. You want to do that, go do that. But that's not you. I mean, that's the thing where if you do that, you're going to generate more impact in order to accommodate a lifestyle if you're doing that. But that's not you. Here's some Star Wars facts you didn't know. Everybody knows those facts. I thought about taking a color. Maybe this, hold on. Have I used this? I don't think I've used this. So I'm going to do this, use this deep brown and tie everything together. Here's the fun thing that I learned from reading Winsor McKay strips growing up. If you take a heavy contour line or a darker contour line around the planes in your image that is distinct separation from the regular lines that you're putting down, while it might look a little bit on the cartoony side, what it is going to do is give specific clarity to the viewer in your composition of what shapes that their eyes want to recognize first, to overall understand the whole image more clearly. So that's what I'm doing with this brown. And hopefully what that does now is separates this brow ridge and the shape of the fore snout, I guess it's, I was gonna say the forward part of the face, but I guess it's like a snout and beak. It's strange that Triceratops has a beak-like shape, isn't it? And then throw down some emphasis points with that. And you want to draw attention to the eye. So right now, it's been a video a month. That's excellent. That's a great start. You're right. I want to enjoy, inspire, and be inspired, not go viral. It takes me a while to put everything together for video. I found OBS. I want to come back to what Miriam just said, but I found OBS is easy because it just, I got a bunch of different, like I got a couple different cameras, one above and one facing me. I can stick them on the same screen and not have to back and forth edit. And my microphone's plugged into it. So it's managed. And I don't have to think about any of that anymore. I kind of, and then I run it through StreamYard. StreamYard also has some different doodly-doo and doodads, and I'm constantly finding different things out. Like today, I found out about Logitech having a website where you can alter your camera and make it zoom in and zoom out. So my little $30 Logitech camera that I use just became a better camera. Because I didn't know you could zoom anything. Well, you can with the technology. So again, it takes a while. All right. So I've just sort of spread some of these values throughout the composition. Things like the green ties things together. There's orange throughout different points in the composition, right? Up in here as well. And so those different values, well, this is kind of a crazy, all kinds of color thing. It informs you of where your eye should be led, or the viewer where their eye should be led throughout the picture. In this vicinity, it does. And then the spotlight, of course, would be the nose because it stands so much in contrast. But by having that green tying things throughout, it makes all these discordant colors that are being put down kind of unify in a strange way. Tricky, tricky, tricky. So I'm roughly putting it into a kind of a rectangular shape, the image, so that basically we can pull something together out of that. Where's that brown? I'll feature that forearm and pop that out. Another thing I do a lot with images as I'm coloring things is that I'm constantly using a dark blue and a dark brown together rather than using a black. just because I find that that charcoal, sort of a color that comes out of the combination of these two, it does the job without having to be really opaque and you know, and what's the word? Contrasting. Question of the day. Do you enjoy a massive amount of movie previews before the feature, or could you do without them? Good question, Jim. Mandy says, I just got StreamYard. I'm getting webcam this month. Hey, if you just got StreamYard, Mandy, look along the right side of the, when you put the video on, look along the right side. Comments, banners, brand, and private chat. There are so many fancy little features in there that you could do. Background music, the countdown before your video, you know, all kinds of stuff. I'm getting webcam this month. I don't know what that is. Or you're getting a webcam. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, Miriam says, I can do without. Oh, sorry. Back to Jim's question. You enjoy a massive amount of movie previews before the feature. Can you do without them? Miriam says, I can do without them. I'm okay with them. Largely because I have very little intention to go into movie theaters. And I used to like to go to movie theaters, but I just find that there's a great deal of rude people out there now, and carrying on in whatever way with no civility for those around them. So I think movie theaters will eventually go the way of the dodo, because people are generally tired of having to contend with others that behave, you know, stupidly. So I think you're going to see that movies are going to have some challenging years ahead of them. It's almost like people will start going on strikes. You know, the audience will claim that they're just rehashing the same things over and over again. Oh, wait, all these things are happening. But I like movie trailers. I don't, if it's a movie trailer that gives away the whole thing before you even, you know, you don't need to see the film because they have the ending scene. You know, where Neo from the Matrix says, whoa, dude, is this a Matrix? And then, you know, that's the end of the movie, right? Anybody see Matrix? That's how it ends. I'm pretty sure. I saw Matrix 4. Spoiler alert. I saw Matrix 4 recently. Save yourself that time. Save yourself the time. That's a good time for mowing the grass. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the magic, Mr. Gary Hodges. How you doing, Gary? Welcome aboard. Miriam says, I don't go to a movie theater. Miriam hasn't gone to a movie theater for more than 15 years. Netflix and YouTube are enough. Yeah, Netflix and YouTube are great. You can get all kinds of stuff on there. Swashbuckling, daring do of all kinds can be found on the YouTubes. It's very expensive going to a theater. It's a very expensive proposition. Okay, so when I was a kid, I wanted to grow up and to be a dinosaur. What else did other people want to grow up to be? Gary Hodges says, question of the day answer. I love a good trailer or two, but Oppenheimer opened with like 20 minutes of trailers and I was about to lose my stuff. Come on already, let's go. Oh yeah, are you talking about the start of, Jim, to clarify your question of the day, are you talking about the start of films, or are you talking about trailers in general? Trailers in general, I'm good with. I'm going to a motion picture. I'm not sitting through 35 minutes of Barbie trailers if I'm there to see Oppenheimer. Big old cram. You know, I had these separated. I had the crayons in the crayon box, and I had the pencil crayons in the pencil crayon box. These rotten kids these days, I tell you. Good afternoon, Philip Chandler the Handler. Yeah, I don't care for movies, trailers at the beginning of a film too, and then get on with it. But movie theaters and movie motion picture companies are scrambling right now, trying to get anybody to notice their stuff in any way they can, because they know they're on the way out. We live in a culture that's creating technologies that are more and more isolating and more generally accepted because of it, just for the inconvenience to stop. So I'm just putting some foliage and whatnot in the background here. And here's our first crayon picture. Crayons. Jim says specifically how there's half an hour of film trailers before every film. Philip said when he saw Oppenheimer, there were no trailers. Maybe because it was 3 hours. At the start of films, Gary says, exclamation point. That's crazy, says Miriam. Yeah, I give up on going to theaters anymore. It was expensive for us to do that with the kids because, so we have X amount of kids, and going to the theater just to get in became $100 affair. Why is that? Because it's a family affair. So I'm just putting in some random foliage shapes in the background. Play with this one more action, and we'll go on to draw the next thing. Now, I can't draw the mascot for the Toys R Us place if I'm ever going to do anything with this page. So, I apologize. Who said that they wanted to be the Toys R Us kid? I think it was... I'm not sure who it was. Mandy. Mandy said they wanted to be a Toys R Us kid. Gary says, I prefer picking and choosing trailers to watch on YT. Not being force-fed the sequel to My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which should be prohibited by the Geneva Convention. Is that seriously being made? Oh, Lord. They better all be Greek actors, because it's not good if it's not Greek. What are you yelling at me about? Oh, okay. Well, my phone was giving me the gears there. Okay, so I'm going to tie together our background with a couple of I'm setting up some rules. I always set up rules for myself when I'm working. I'll limit the amount of choices that I have to make by saying, well, we're only doing the background in 3 colors, right? And whether or not that's artificial and doesn't look as realistic isn't my concern. I'm drawing with crayons, so I'm going to let go of that. So what I'm doing is sort of saying I can only use 3 colors for my background and put together something from that. I can't imagine having to watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding before Oppenheimer. That's kind of bonkers. Manny doesn't go to the movies anymore because it's so expensive. Still here. Manny told me that they wanted to be a Toys R Us kid. So I can do you as a draw a kid in a toy store, but I can't draw him with the giraffe or anything like that if I'm going to ever consider putting this in a collection. But what did people want to be when they grow up? That's what do you want to be when you grow up is a suggestion for the page. So if anybody has any input they want to throw down, tell us what you wanted to be when you were a kid. Typical weird kid, I want to be a dinosaur. And I remember Triceratops being cool, so I think I want to be a Triceratops. For all I know, I am one. Perhaps. Perhaps. Miriam says that they're lurking while having dinner. I do prefer the theater experience for certain movies. For example, when I see Dune 2, that will be in a theater. Yeah, I think I'll be seeing that in a theater too. We'll see. It's an increasingly miserable experience, expensive, and obnoxious people. I know a lot of people that are investing in far more expensive, elaborate home theater setups now, with crazy speakers and the whole enchilada, just to replicate that theater going experience, and without having to actually go to the theater. So somebody I know has a 92-inch television. That is a wall of your house. All right, here's what I want to be when I grow up. Squeaky chair. All right, so there's our first panel. I don't disagree with you at all, Gary. Look at the little baby man drawing with crayons. Look at him, he's such a baby. No. Copyright issues with the logo, totally get it. Jim, you meant that? Jim wanted to be Sergio Aragonés or Peter Sellers. Really? It's like you very specifically wanted to be those two guys? All right. I think that... I don't know if anybody has seen this, by the way, but years and years ago on Parkinson, a British television interview show, kind of like Letterman, Sellers was on, and he was talking about working on various films with different actors. And he talks about Michael Caine and what it was like being on the set with Michael Caine. And if you want to see a little piece of fantastic fun, check out Peter Sellers doing an impression of Michael Caine. So good. It's kind of... I like watching when performers do impressions of other performers. I have a decent home theater setup, says Gary, so I increasingly just watch things on disc. I don't know how big that thing is. It's like 2 feet by 3.5 feet is our television set. That's pretty big. That's big compared to the ones that I grew up with as a kid. All right, we're going to do Jim as Peter Sellers. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Let me think. What do I want to draw with? The gold? No. Red. This isn't red again. Do I have a red? What color are you? Pink. Who are you? Violet red. Okay, we'll try this. Yeah, we don't have a big fancy thing with big, but it's a loud TV and it's a nice enough screen, and we sit, only so many feet away from it. So when you sit closer, it seems bigger. Just sit directly in front of your television. Okay, so when I was a kid, I wanted to grow up and be a dinosaur. So I'm going to play this like, when I grow up, I'm going to play this page like it's written as children. So that sounds like the way I'm going to come at it, I think, because why not? And I figured out, Jim says, I saw that impression. That's in reference to Peter Sellers doing an impression of Michael Caine. I just went to a flick show last night because they had a $4 special going. It was packed and obnoxious. Not doing that again. Nope, you're fine. You're completely involved. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's $2 Tuesdays they used to have here in London. This is 1,000 years ago. And $2 Tuesdays got you the most interesting crowd out there. That's when it cost $4 to go to a movie. Holy cow, $4. I remember when it went up to. It was insane. The last time I went to the theater with the kids, one of the kids laughed at me because this person says, I told him, how many tickets we needed for how many people. Okay, sir, that'll be just don't tell me. Just take it off the debit card. Just don't tell me. I just didn't want to know. I don't even want to know. There goes your college son. There goes your university daughter. Tuesday Tuesdays. It goes back a long time ago. Yeah, at least 5 years. So I'm doing the same thing as I've been doing on this piece. The first image is that I have to switch out the crayon every few minutes here. I can only do so much in a composition with the crayon before it's got to go. Next color. And the reason for that is that it keeps it loose. I saw the Ruddles in the theater. That's a great movie. I had to see that in the theater because I didn't see Hard Day's Night when it came out, And the Ruddles is it's Eric Idle from Monty Python, and for heaven's sakes, I'm so mad at myself. The guy who wrote all the musical pieces that were in Monty Python's television show, and Neil something or other, I think it is. And in the films, he did the soundtracks for those, and so brilliantly funny. He had a song called "I'm the Earthman Spaceman Ranger." Now here's a twist: I don't exist, and he has this whole song about being from outer space, but it's no, none of it's real. He's just a brilliantly funny guy. But he and Eric Idle formed a band called the Ruddles. It's the Beatles. It's just everything is replaced with the word rut. It's very much like in Les Schtroumpfs, the Smurfs. Have a Smurfing good time. Because that's how they speak. The Ruddles is a similar way. Hard day's rut instead of a hard day's night. I can't remember what help was. People are so used to watching TV at home that they act that way when they're in a theater. They put up their feet on chairs and talk real loud. See, I'm not good with that. I'm not very polite to people there. I'm the guy that'll say, "Get your feet down." There's just no civility or politeness on my part doing that. There's the perks of being gorilla sized, I guess, but I'll tell people off in the theater. I don't care. Which is one of the reasons it's probably a good idea I don't go there, because people are more and more violent, and I don't need to be set myself up for trouble. Which I would do. Okay, so when I was a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up is the suggestion for today's page. I'm drawing this like we're children telling people what we want to be. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a dinosaur when I grew up. And then Jim's he wanted to be Peter Sellers. So we're doing that. I think, Jim, if I'm not mistaken, you had the chance to meet Peter Sellers. Or not, I'm sorry. You had a chance to meet Sergio Aragonés, the other person that, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize, everyone. I thought you said at some point you had a chance because you went to church with Stan Sakai, who is the writer-artist of Usagi Yojimbo. Usagi Yojimbo. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight on our program is Usagi Yojimbo. Jim has asked, do you remember... What is wrong with you, robot? I got a new mouse, and sometimes he's just terrible, and no one likes him. Maybe if I move my mouse pad over here. Magum. Do you remember you need feet? Quote from the riddles. No, but it's totally a type of thing that's in that film. All of the Beatles tropes are in the riddles. To dig it, to dig it, to dig it, to dig it. There we go. That's the brown. Come on, Orange. It's your turn. When I was a young guy, I really liked Monty Python, and I really liked Blackadder, Rowan Atkinson, not the 9 o'clock news, and I liked a lot of British programming, and we'd get a fair amount of it here in Canada. So there's a great deal of things that I really enjoyed watching, and that was one of them. Gary says, 8 watchers and 2 likes. You know what to do, everybody. Sit down and have a writer's protest. It's very nice in here. I'm shopping in a crowd on a Tuesday afternoon. Does anybody remember what they wanted to be when they grew up? I have met Sergio many times. Got to go to a private art show of his. That's awesome. For those that don't know who Sergio Aragonés is, please look him up. He changed Mad Magazine for the better by his inclusion in it as an inker and then an artist. He also created Gru the Barbarian, which is brilliantly funny. A funny guy in general. Time we're at 1:23. We're doing okay. I also met Michael Caine. What? I've met Stephen Baldwin and Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron, beefcake. I like Kirk Cameron a lot. It's kind of sad that he got left behind. No, that was a film. That was a movie. You never know what's a documentary these days. Kirk Cameron exposed something that, you don't notice until you've noticed it by an example. It's always the kind of really tricky kids in schools that many of those will go on to be teachers. I'm not saying that all teachers were rough kids when they were little, but a lot of the kids that were kind of like just the worst students, strangely enough, many of the ones that I knew that were like that are all teachers now. It's a strange thing, that to me. I saw a meme once that said to do a Michael Caine voice, just say, "I'm Michael Caine." Oh, Ruddles, cheese, and onions. There you go. I get it now. It took me a second there. I'm Michael Caine. I saw a bit one time where a guy was doing impressions, and he keeps. All right, here's some impressions I've got. I'll do some impressions for you. And the first one, he'd go, here's your impression of Sean Connery, and he would do someone else. Like it wasn't Michael Caine, but just imagine reading a Sean Connery line as Michael Caine. And then he blames it all on his cue cards being out of order. So he's got the wrong name with the wrong person. But you recognize all of his impressions. It was really good. I just thought it was really funny. But that's what the Michael Caine thing made me think of. Getting that hair in there. Gotta dry that guy's hair, you know what I mean? Get him some hair in his head there. That's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of my life, Gary. I'm like a Caine. Peter Sellers is really my favorite Sellers role. Is not that socially acceptable anymore. Never, I don't know that ever really was. But Peter Sellers did a film called The Party, where he plays a character who is an absolute calamity on a motion picture set, and he wants to go and apologize to somebody, and he ends up getting swept up into their whole evening's party. Of course, calamitous there too. Oh, so good. One of the characters that steals the show of that, though, if you get a chance to watch it, is a waiter that gets more and more drunk as the evening goes on. And there's a whole thing with this lady's, crazy hair and hat and so forth. That just, oh God, comedic genius. It's nice when you meet these actors that you liked for X amount of time. You've watched them in different shows and things like that for years. And somebody I know said something really funny. He met William Shatner. We had Shatner here in London, and at our convention, and he walked up to William Shatner with a photograph of him as T.J. Hooker. And Shatner's like, it's the only one of those I've seen all day. Such a wiener. By the way, you can click a way underrated Michael Caine classic. The Ipcris File. Indeed, it was. Gritty spy thriller, cool 60s vibe. I didn't actually mind his Get Carter either. A lot of people, don't speak to it as his finest work, but because there's so many other things that he's done. But Ipcris File's a fantastic one. Good call, Gary. It's funny the films by people that you gravitate towards aren't really the big, like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. I could care less about that movie, but that's the big Robert Redford and Paul Newman film. But although the name escapes me, the one where Paul Newman plays the new warden at a jail is my favorite Paul Newman film, and or a lot of the movies he did when he was older because they were just brilliant. And then my favorite Robert Redford is a toss-up between Jeremiah Johnson and 3 Days of the Condor. It's like, you try to recommend those to people, and they're like, what are you talking about? Jim says The Party. I can't, my mouse isn't working with the darn people, so I'm going to try to, I'm not going to be able to put up a lot of chat. The Party is my favorite Peter Sellers film, says Jim. It's so good. Sellers is on top of form in that movie. I do love him in Strange Love as well, though. His conversation as the United States president to the Russian president is so good. Yeah, what's that? No, I don't know why, Dmitry. No, I don't know why. so good. The world is crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, so good. I think he plays at least 3 roles in that film. Got weird color combinations here. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is just good, says Gary. I think its reputation is just for having those 2 guys in the same film. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's got to be some sort of, imagine these 2 guys teaming up. It's like, what was the, wasn't there a Clint Eastwood, Burt Reynolds movie that, it's Burt Reynolds and somebody's, Burt Reynolds and such in a film together. And it's, wah, wah, you know. I loved Every Which Way But Loose when that came out. I love that so much, except for the female lead in it, who was actually in real life Clint Eastwood's wife. I just couldn't stand her. I don't know what it is, but I love films where they toy with the time. Yeah, definitely. Like, definitely mess up the sequences of stuff and mess up. Or are you talking about the day and age and making commentary or reference towards it? So I like that too, but. All right, switching. There's a movie that has Armin Schuler in it, and Gretchen Mol cannot for the life of it. 13th Floor, I think it's called, and it's about these little incongruities that people are coming across and how some of these things don't make any sense, and you realize it's a far crazier story than you initially thought you were watching. This sort of crime noir, film noir kind of aesthetic, and no, it's not that at all. It's completely sci-fi. Michael Caine did not disappoint. He was super nice. He didn't have to be exactly what I'd hoped he'd be. Oh, that's nice. That's when you meet people in their aces. That's the best. I don't know if you saw the Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., but at one point he gets into a fight with a really tall guy at the side of, like, on this boat dockyard, and so this guy's trying to hit him with a mallet at this dockyard, and Sherlock Holmes is trying to evade, being pummeled. The actor that played the big giant guy, and he's been in lots of films as bad dudes. He's primarily bad dude in his casting. Was this one of the sweetest people I've ever met? His name's Robert Milo, and he's about he's close to 7 feet, if not 7 feet. And I got a chance to meet him at a show. We were just hanging out and chatting, and he's so nice. He's so generous and sweet as a person. And all these people sort of start lingering around, and he says, "Are these people here for you, or are they here?" And I said, "I think they're here to meet you." But just that he's very genuine. He doesn't assume anything. It was nice to meet that guy. I mean, isn't that the core draw of those Ocean's 11 movies, the Expendable movies, just getting those people together? Yeah, I think it is. Carrie says, it turns out Clint couldn't stand his co-star either. It turns out they had an ugly divorce, if I remember right. She was in a ton of films with him, though. Like, I mean, she kept getting cast as the Gauntlet. She's his co-star in that. Every Which Way But Loose. She's in those. It's almost like when these people do these actors do these things with these projects with their partners, they never go well. They never go well, and they always just feel so contrived. The Ocean's 11 movies were the first one was a lot of fun. It really was, and the other two was just novelty. But that first one was a lot of fun as films go. But that third one completely jumped the shark in my book. As soon as you start getting, we're going to cast you as Julia Roberts because you look just like her. And Bruce Willis comes on as Bruce Willis. That film's garbage to me. That's all it took. One scene. I'm out. I'm really fickle. Have you figured that out yet? I love Dr. Strangelove. That's where my love goes. You give it to me? There you go. That's Depeche Mode lyrics incorporated into the Strangelove thing. I mean, I it's okay that Jim, incorporates Depeche Mode lyrics into stuff. I mean, people are people. They're just gonna do whatever they're gonna do. Why should they be any different? Gary says, on that note, Play Misty for me for the first. I saw Play Misty for me for the first time a few months ago, which I was always told was a Clint Eastwood classic. I found it super dated and silly. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't. If you can just watch something as its time and place, that's one thing. But when it's so trapped in, like a lot of the early 80s films, as much as people like, oh, I love these old movies, they're really bad. They're very much just an early 80s sensibility that was left behind with the 80s. And that's sad. I did watch Back to the Future recently, though, started watching that with the grandkids, and I laughed my guts out when Huey Lewis showed up in it. Huey Lewis from Huey Lewis in the News plays a teacher that when Michael J. Fox does his crazy Eddie Van Halen guitar solo bit in the gym as his band's trying out for a showcase, and then he gets interrupted by Huey Lewis, who tells him that he's there. You can't be in. I'm sorry. You're just it's too loud. So great. That's Huey Lewis. Kids will never get that. That's such a reference of time and place, but I liked it. Gary says, my dad is an uncredited extra in The Gauntlet. They hired all the available Phoenix Police Department to be extras as cops in it. Oh, that's fantastic. You can't see his face, but he can point himself out. You see that elbow right there? That's your old man. Huh? That's right, kid. I used to be a somebody. No, I know that's not what your dad did, but my kids Well, they have the bragging rights to say that you see these really bad VHS movies. My dad's in this as Dr. Hypno, the villain in Samurai Ninja Fly. Jello. Samurai Ninja Fly. Okay, so I'm going to do a little shadow background for this one. So the idea that I'm going to put forward in this panel is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'll say, Christopher wants to be a dinosaur, like a triceratops. That one's the best because he's got 3 horns. And then Jimmy wants to be an actor who plays a spy in the movies, and also in comedy movies, and even a spy in a comedy movie. So that's my intention with the text, is to write it like it's a grade 3 classroom assignment. Because that's cool. Sandra Locke, that was her name. Yes, thank you. I wonder how she's doing today, or if she passed away. I don't know, because Clint Eastwood's 106. Smart, Gary. They didn't need to rent uniforms by casting actual cops. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Which is why whenever I do dinosaur films, you know who I cast. That's right, real dinosaurs. All right, so there we go. Has anybody else said what they wanted to be when they were a kid? What are we at? 1:42. A couple more minutes and we'll wrap up. Cause I gotta go mow my lawn. Oh, I had to buy a new battery for my lawnmower. Here's a fun fact. The cost of our lawnmower's battery is the same amount as buying many new lawnmowers. For the cost of the battery of a lawnmower, we could have bought a less expensive lawnmower and one of those leaf blower things and a weed whacker for the same amount. All in a package. The quality of them, I don't know, but my lawnmower looks like it's a spaceship. I'm not joking. It looks like a really crazy spacey design, and I like it, and it's very loud. It's just what a lawnmower should be. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you need a lot of fabric to do a dinosaur film. That's true, Miriam. That's true. Miriam wants to be a kid when she grows up, so I think we'll do that. So I'm gonna make a note of that because I better wrap up because I gotta go check my blood sugar because I wasn't entirely high when I started. So Miriam, kid, Jim, Peter Sellers. I can't say Peter Sellers though, so you know. And then Christopher, dinosaur. Now I have an idea for the final one, but that's okay. We'll get there. Oh, Philip wanted to be a fireman. We'll put that in there too. Okay, so I'm going to continue and do these panels and have this done for tonight. But thank you for the suggestion to work in crayon today. I don't think I've done a page in crayon in a while, at least, if I have done one. Crayon is fun. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for coming out to the stream today. I know that I was away a fair amount last week. There were things going on for those that aren't aware. Oh, Gary says, chef or weatherman. We'll get that down. Gary is a chef or a weatherman. Okay. And then Mandy also says the kid in Toy Story. And Toys R Us kid. So I got those down too. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, everybody, for sharing those things. Yeah, I appreciate people coming by today and people being understanding about being away last week. Very nice of you all to come back and say hello. I will be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock as well. And we'll be working on a new page. If you have a one-page story idea or suggestion you want to throw at me in, social media comments or on this video or whatever it is, please feel free to do so. This is page 239. Good heavens. And we're having a lot of fun this year doing these. I don't even know how many days into the year we are, but it's a lot of fun. And my goal is to at least have one for every day of the year. A page anyways. So, okay, that's about it for me. I'm going to sign off. Thanks very much, gang, for coming out. And I'll see you tomorrow. And keep creating. And if you are, please feel free to share it. I like that very much. I like to see what other people are doing. But in the meantime, I am going to clock out if I can get my mouse to ever work again. There he is. Let's figure it out. Bye for now, gang.